Hi everyone, welcome to Traveling Misknits. My name is Pia and I am so happy that you're joining me here today for a little chat about my yarn adventures. I don't have any finished objects this week, but I do have two that are ridiculously close to being finished. One of them in particular has cost me so much headache this last week. So I think we're going to start with that so I can get it out of my system. I do think we have a happy ending in sight. But first of all, let's just take a minute to appreciate how beautiful this project bag is. It's a gift from my friend Bitten, and I have shown Bitten's bags before on this channel. I love them. She always finds the best fabrics. Just look at this, how beautiful it is, and they're so well made and they're just lovely bags, and she doesn't sell them. I need to talk to her about starting to sell her bags because they are so good. And inside this bag, that it felt good to move the project to this bag so that there was something happy about it, is my cat number 7. And it has cost me so much headache this past week. Let's just take a look. See how far I have gotten. It is so close to being finished. I mean, it's almost there. But what I have had to go through to get to this point. In all of my wisdom, I decided to make this my going home project. The thing that I would be knitting on the flight home from the Maldives. And actually, it's not a bad idea to have miles and miles of stockinette stitch when you're on this long journey with 3 shorter flights. It's not really possible to sleep because, again, shorter flights means that most of the time is spent either taking off or approaching your destination. So I thought, no, I'm going to be knitting on this and it's going to be good. I knew the measurement that I was going to knit the body to. I knew, and I brought my measuring tape. I don't know what happened. I seriously have no idea what happened. I can only say measuring a garment in flight, especially at night, bad lighting, all of those things, not the best idea. And this body ended up being 5 centimeters, 2 inches too short. And I finished it on the flight. I finished it with the twisted ribbing, the short rows on the back, the bind off, everything. And when I came home, I wanted to try it on. I was like, this is too short. This is much shorter than what I planned. And I measured it, and yeah, 5 centimeters too short. I was in no mood to redo the short rows and the twisted ribbing. So what I decided to do was make some sweater surgery. And you can tell, I mean, it's visible. I caught it here, right here, I can tell. I got it, first I picked up all the stitches on one needle, then I used a second needle to pick up the stitches for the body. So I had the yoke portion on one needle, the body portion on another, and then I just cut my yarn and separated the two. It's not easy to pick up your stitches in a fuzzy dark yarn, but you know, I was able to do it. It took a couple of tries. I was able to do it, And then I just knit 5 extra centimeters from the yoke going down and grafted the 2 pieces together. And it all sounds very easy. It was not. It would have been so much faster to just rib out the ribbing and the short rows and redo the thing. But, you know, it was my plan, and once I had started it, I had to follow through. You can tell that I did the sweater surgery. For sure, you can tell. There's like an unevenness, a slight change in gauge, and you can tell. But it's going to be good. It's going to be okay, because I haven't blocked this yet. So as soon as I wash and block it, for sure, it's going to be okay. Then I picked up the stitches for the first sleeve, and I started knitting, and I was like, this looks weird. It looks not okay, but it was in the night. We were watching Dexter Original Sin. Recommendation if you haven't watched that one yet. So I was like, no, I'm knitting. Don't disturb me. I'm knitting. So I knit the sleeve down to here, and then the next morning I was like, it was not okay. I had picked up on the wrong needle. My gauge was totally off. The stitches looked really sloppy. So I ripped back almost an entire sleeve, started over, knit the sleeve again. And I'm happy I did. It looks much better now. And then I picked up for the second sleeve, and knock on wood, there has been no mistakes, no problems so far. I'm not completely done, so we don't know yet that it's going to work out, but I think it is. I really think it is. So I think that sometime this afternoon, I will have a finished cat number 7 that I can then give a nice long bath and block it, and then it's going to be good. I love the shape of the cat number 7. I love the long sloping shoulders, the very, very, very oversized body, and then the narrow sleeves to like rein in some of the positive ease. I love the high boat neck with just the raw rolled over hem. I decided to go with the rolled over hem on the sleeves. On the short sleeves, for sure, I was never in doubt. Of course, I wanted the rolled over hem. I was a little bit unsure with the long sleeves if it would be better to do a ribbed cuff, but I decided to go with the rolled over edge. I think it's gonna look beautiful. When I try it on, it looks beautiful because it is a relatively form-fitting sleeve, so it sits really nice. I also love the material, the fabric here. Just look at the drape and the movement. I really recommend for the cat number 7, because of all this positive ease, I recommend to choose a yarn with a lot of drape, a heavy fiber. The first version that I showed you last week was knit in yak and silk, and that's also heavy drapey fibers. This is 100% alpaca. Alpaca is also very heavy and very smooth, so it will drape beautifully as well. So yeah, very, very soon I will be parading around my winter version, my long-sleeved version of the cat number 7. And it's nice. we're not even in March yet. It's nice to have a winter garment that I can get so much wear out of this before summer comes. So really excited for that. Please keep your fingers crossed for me. I need to not make more mistakes on this project. I am gonna go crazy if I mess up again, but I have 9.5 more rounds to go. How bad can I mess things up? Not gonna think about that. I am just gonna believe in the process, and of course I'm gonna have a beautiful sweater. The yarn is a very, very budget-friendly yarn. It's Drops Alpaca, which is 100% alpaca in a heavy fingering, light sport weight. And yeah, it's soft. It's really soft. It's next to skin. I even think I could make a hat out of this. I don't know. I am somewhat sensitive to alpaca. I feel like they're very soft in the skein or in the ball. But then when they touch my body, especially if I get a little warm, it feels very prickly. But this one is very, very soft. And it is so fuzzy and so beautiful. And yeah, very happy with my yarn choice for this one. The pattern for the cat number 7 is going to come out a week before the spring knit-a-thon. And just in case you haven't heard the last couple of weeks, maybe you're even new here, hi and welcome. I'm really happy that you decided to check out this channel. I hope you like what you see. The spring knit-a-thon is March 29 and 30. And if you don't know what a knit-a-thon is, I have playlists on this channel where I talk about what the knit-a-thon is, and I have the previous year's knit-a-thons in there. But just very briefly, it's a super informal event where knitters from all over the world come together for 24 hours of fun, friendship, and knitting. There's going to be different YouTube podcasters who either go live or premiere an episode so they can do a live chat as we watch the episode together. It's going to happen every hour, on the hour. There is a full schedule on my website, and I am going to link that in the description box below, where I'll also link the projects that the projects that I mentioned throughout this episode. I do have one more project that is very close to completion. Not as close as this one, but it's a massive project. So even with a little further to go, it's still very close. It is my blanket, my knitted blanket. For a couple of years now, I have been knitting these big squares in also 100% alpaca, a DK weight. It's Drops Puna that I'm using in all of these earthy, grayish, brownish tones. I now have one square plus what is left on this one to go. A little bit wonky, but it's gonna be fine. I could finish this today. It's just that I don't wanna. I don't know. To me, this blanket is very much a vacation blanket, but I think I am gonna get my act together and finish the blanket. It's gonna be so beautiful. I I have blocked all of the squares, and for that, this little helper has been amazing. In the beginning, I tried blocking the squares as I knit them just on a regular mat, pinning them, but it was so difficult to get them all in the same size. So back in October, when I was in Texas, I ordered this granny square blocking board on Amazon. It was a little bit difficult to find one that was large enough for these large squares. You don't see many granny squares this size for sure, but I was able to find one, and it has been such a help. It has made it possible for me to block out all of the squares to the same size. And, you know, there's mistakes galore in this project. It has been social knitting all the way through, which means that, let me just get rid of this one. It means that when the squares are off the needles, they're going to look something like this. Not really a square, and the gauge is really rough and uneven, and yeah, there's also like real mistakes. I actually think I'm looking at one here. Look, can you tell how I made a mistake in the decreasing here? Right there. There's a lot of those, but it's all gonna be okay. It is gonna be okay because of my wonderful blocking board. Typically, I will block 4 or 5 squares at a time, just because it's easier. I have these two, then I have this one almost done, and I need to do one more. So one more blocking session and I can start assembling my blanket. It's going to happen at some point. It's going to be okay. With all of the frustration of the cat number 7, the other day I had separated the two. I had started knitting, and I could see that, oh, there's a gauge issue here, and will it block out? And I just got tired of it. I was just like, no, I cannot look at this. I need a break. This needs a break. This needs to go to the naughty step right now, and I need to not be with it. So I decided to cast on something new. I cast on a sock because I don't have high expectations of myself when it comes to sock. I'm not a sock knitter. I'm probably never going to be. So I don't have these high expectations. I'm not going to be easily frustrated with myself when I'm knitting a sock. So I thought, a sock. It's going to be a sock. I have it in a lovely little bag from the Playful Knitter, Malene. She has a wonderful YouTube channel, and from time to time she will make some of these sock bags and sell them on Instagram. So I am gonna link her Instagram account so that you can check her out if you're interested. They're so pretty, her bags. This one in particular, just look at the wonderful lining that she put in. Isn't it pretty? I really like this one. I had a ball of this Patons Croix self-striping yarn. It's the colorway Blue Striped Rag, which that makes sense. It is a rag sock. So yeah, it's a really beautiful. I actually think that I have knit through a full repeat of the stripes. I think after the yellow, it's going to go back to red again. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. So I am doing what I always, can I say always about socks? What I'm usually doing, I am knitting a sock tube and adding an afterthought heel after. And I know that one ball of this Patons Croix is not going to be enough for a long winter sock. I've learned that the hard way. But it is enough for a shorter sock, and I actually like my socks kind of short. Oops, I'm sorry. So for a shorty sock like this one, it's going to be fine. These, by the way, are knit in some Hopi and some Drops Fable. Yeah, vanilla socks. And these actually have a boomerang heel. That was back when I still believed enough in myself to make a boomerang heel or a short row heel rather than adding afterthought heels. But yeah, for these, I'm just going to continue with the stripes until I have knit up half of the ball. I am weighing it as I go. Then I'm going to knit a longer toe, and then I'm adding afterthought heels. The yarn that I'm using for cuffs, heels, and toes, it's just a supermarket yarn. Look, 5 kroner, that is less than $1. It's just one of those yarns that we have in the supermarket, and it's a sock yarn. There's some nylon in it. It's a wool nylon blend, and yeah, the color was just perfect. I think it really goes well with this Patons Croix. It's a little bit heavier, but I guess that's just a good thing, especially for the heels and toes, so that maybe it's even more sturdy than the Patons Croix. Yeah. Another sock project. I could have just picked up my last minute sock, but that was still sitting in my suitcase that I didn't bother to unpack. Probably more information than you needed. I am such a lazy traveler, and I have to be really strict with myself in order to actually go ahead and unpack my suitcases. So there you go. I have one more thing that I want to show you. Hang on a second. I want to show you my next project that is going to be on the needles probably tonight, because I don't foresee a lot of trouble with the cat number 7. As soon as that is resting in a nice warm bath, I am going to cast on with this beautiful Rerum Natura Ulysses that I got when I was in Texas. I love this yarn. I have knit with it before. I have knit myself a cardigan in a beautiful apple green color. I fell head over heels for this color. It's a little bit darker than it comes across on the camera. Yeah, here. That's the color that you see in real life. I am gonna knit my Aurora sweater, which is the sweater that I am actually wearing today. I really like the Aurora because it is such a simple pattern, and that to me makes it a perfect canvas to play with colors. It is very simple, top down, raglan, not a lot, but still it has some little details that just gives it a very, very nice fit. It has a high neckline. I like that. I even like the little fold that will often show up. I think it's kind of elegant. I think it just adds something to your shoulders. And then it has a body shaping that I have used on quite a few on my patterns, where you work some short rows to lower the back. At the same time, you also work some increases that will pull the body a little up and to the front. So it's a playful fit in a way, and also it's really good if you like to tuck in your sweaters, as I almost always do. Also, it has on these fitted sleeves, it has this ribbed panel going all the way down on the body and into the ribbing on the body. It looks pretty, but also it gives a really nice fit to the sleeves, because they're fitted, and the ribbing definitely helps to keep them right where you want them. This one is knit in less traveled yarn. She had a special collection at some point. I don't remember the colorway name, but it was also kind of a one-off thing. But I love this one. I really love the bright, warm orange. And I think I'm gonna love this dark wine red just as much. Hopefully, because I have gotten a lot of wear out of this one. So my fingers are itching. I want to cast on, but I am exercising monk-like self-discipline. I am not casting on until my cat number 7 is resting in a nice warm bath. And that was it for the creative content this week. For life in general, we came back to Denmark from the Maldives. And can I just say how lovely it is to have a place to come back to? For the past 3 to 4 years, almost 4 years, we have been more or less full-time travelers. We haven't had a specific place to call home. Well, Peter did. His home was in Dubai, but I didn't have a place to call home. I was traveling constantly. And while that was lovely, and I am very grateful to have had the chance to do that, I am also very grateful that it is now over. I live here. I live in Denmark on my old farm with my husband, my best friend Anne, and little Miss. There she is. She will often come with us when we travel, but yeah, it's nice to have a place to call home. Unfortunately, coming home was a little bit rough. If you have been following along on this channel, you have probably seen Sir Charles, little Charlie, who is my son's dog, who was my son's dog. Charlie has been my daycare dog for almost 16 years. Every time I was in Denmark, he'd be here with me. Often we'd bring him to Italy when we went there. He was my son's dog, for sure. He followed my son from he was 19 years old. Charlie was by his side through all the greatest things in his life, and also through all the worst things in his life. But yeah, I'm sure you can guess what I'm going to say. He was too old. He was in pain. And we knew where it was going. When we came home from Texas, we spent all of January in Texas. And when we came home, we could see, oh, he is not going to be okay. He was in pain. Every time he tried to get out of his favorite chair, he took so long to do it. And he really wanted to be part of everything that was going on, but he just couldn't. He could just follow us with his eyes, but not with his body, because it was hurting. Sometimes when he got up, he would forget why he got up and just stand being all confused. So we knew that this was not, as my son said, Charlie has been too good a dog to not give him the ending that he deserves. So we did that last Friday, and it was heartbreaking. But it was, at the same time, it was the kind of sadness where a part of me knew from the get-go, I'm going to be okay. This is right. This is the right thing to do. This is what we owe Charlie to do. I'm going to be okay. Right now, I'm super sad, but I'm going to be okay. It was nothing like the ground-shaking, horrible grief where the whole world just shifts and you need to find yourself in a whole new order. This was something that we knew was going to happen for a long time, and it was heartbreaking for sure. But I know we're going to be okay. And I knew that from the very start. Everyone who has a pet knows probably exactly what I'm talking about. They become such a big part of your family. And saying goodbye, I'm just really bad at goodbyes. But yeah. I'm going to be okay. So before I tear up completely, I think I am going to end things here. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me to have a group of friends to chat with. It gives me an opportunity to sort through my brain, and yeah, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, stay happy, stay safe, and keep knitting.